The following is a mechanically reproduced announcement, previously recorded from a live scheduled program on 24.7 The Stream. This is not a live broadcast. All guests, callers, and hosts granted 24.7 The Stream permission to be recorded. This program may contain strong language or topics not suited for younger listeners. Parental discretion is advised. Thank you for listening to 24.7 The Stream.
Welcome to InformNation Radio. This is your host, AlexGabriel.
And your co-host, David Sick.
Here we are on this beautiful Monday, and it is beautiful outside, actually,
yes,
today in Chicagoland. It's about, 60 degrees out there today?
Nice and sunny.
Nice and sunny, feeling good. Got the vitamin D coming in from the sun.
Yep, that's how I like it. And I like the sun warm and the air cool. It just makes the day perfect.
There you go. You know, great day for a great show that we're going to have here today.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about so much today.
We're going to keep on continuing on with the series, You Are What You Eat. And, it goes way back in time from, ancestors to the Mayans to the Sumerians, all kind of formed around the tradition of eating. And they believe that, you turn into what you're eating, or you take the properties of what you're eating. And that, that plays true today, I guess.
That's exactly how it goes. I mean, how food is you eat it, and it becomes part of you.
Yeah.
It's how it breaks down in your systems, how your cells absorb the nutrients, absorb the minerals, and it becomes part of you.
There we go. And then, so what we're going to do today, and what we're going to do throughout this series, is actually we're going to be having a little contest going on here. So anytime throughout the show today, or our couple next shows that we're going to have with a couple special guests, I'll read those off in a minute here. But what we're going to do is we're going to send out a free $30 gift card to a place of your choosing for the best question asked throughout this You Are What You Eat series. Now, we might do one gift card or we might do two gift cards. It kind of depends on what the questions that are coming in, how many questions we have coming in. So either you could send them to our Facebook, which is facebook.com/InformNationLive, or you can send them to our email, which that's InformNationLive@gmail.com, or the best approach, which is what I think, you could get your question answered live on air. Call direct into the studio here at 630-445-1213. And before you get off the phone with us, if you call in, make sure to leave your information or some contact information so we can get back to you on deciding if your question was the best question. Now, if you have any questions about health, food, nutrition, toxins in your diet, any sort of health-related question, vaccines, anything like that you're worried about or you're worried for your family about, call in, ask us, because today we're going to be having a special guest on the show today.
A special guest?
We will be having a special guest. After the first segment, we're going to be having Anthony Malchiodi.
From Rock Your Health Radio.
From Rock Your Health Radio on. And he's going to be coming on here, and he's going to be talking a little bit about health, nutrition. But what we're really going to focus on is the toxins in the diets these days, because they're everywhere, right?
Yeah, definitely. Everywhere you go, you find toxins in the food, the water, the pesticides, what they're spraying in the air. Even toxins just in your daily life. It doesn't even have to be food related. It can be the environmental toxins, the stress toxins, the hormonal buildup. Exactly, the toxins of people around you.
Oh, yeah. And then, we want to talk about toxins. It starts off from right when you wake up in the morning. So you get up. What's the first thing you do? Usually what? Either you're drinking your coffee, your tea, and either if those are non-organic or they have toxins in them, those could be bad for you.
Yep.
I suggest every morning myself is wake up, drink a big glass of water.
That's what I do.
Filtered water. Take the sodium fluoride and the chlorine out of the water. Drink a big cup of that. Get your digestive system running. You have your nice energy going then because your system's running. Your cells are fueled with fresh H2O. But some of the next things that you do in the morning are, I brush my teeth before I shower. And
I brush my teeth after I shower.
You brush your teeth after you shower. But brushing your teeth, that's a toxin just right off the bat. If you're having toothpaste with sodium fluoride in it, or there's another chemical in the sodium fluoride too that I just found out because I was actually listening to one of the Rock Your Health radio shows. Mm-hmm. And actually there's another chemical in toothpaste that we're going to have to watch out for too. But I'll let Anthony go over that one as well.
I know I've heard it too, but I can't remember the name. It starts with a T or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, or CT or I don't know off the top of my head. But I mean, you're brushing your teeth with the sodium fluoride toothpaste, and you're drowning it under the sodium fluoride water.
Yep, and you're taking a shower just bathing in the sodium fluoride
bathing
water.
in the sodium fluoride water. If you're taking a hot, steamy shower, the steam's coming up.
You're breathing it in.
You're breathing in these chlorines and chemicals now. It's disgusting.
Yep.
Not to mention, if you haven't cleaned your shower pipes or your shower head, you're going to have mold in there as well, too, from the built-up years of taking a shower and never cleaning out your pipes or your whatever that's called, the head of the shower.
Yeah.
And then also, what are you putting in your hair? What are you putting on your skin? Are you using lotions?
Deodorant? Colognes?
I mean, those are a wide variety of things that are just immediately adding in toxins to your body. They actually say, I believe it's a 5 or 10 minute shower, your body absorbs enough water for about like 8 glasses of sodium fluoride.
Oh, wow.
So you get enough like chemicals and everything that it would be drinking 8 glasses of water.
I mean, that's very true. When you take that hot shower, your pores open up.
Yeah.
And the largest organ in your body is the skin.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just absorbing the water through your skin.
And most people don't think about that. I mean, most people don't think about, hey, I'm absorbing stuff through my skin.
Yes.
And that's the scary truth to it, but you're going to have to watch out, what toothpaste you're using, what shampoos you're using, what body washes you're using, what deodorants are you using, what colognes are you using, what lotions, hairsprays, gels. Myself, I have a natural, it's called Nature's Gate toothpaste. Works great, foams up very well, sodium fluoride free. Now, the question I'm wondering is, after I listen to that Rock Your Health radio, I wonder if it has that other chemical in it. I don't think it does. I picked it up from Fruitful Yield, really good toothpaste.
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check it out. I have also some of myself. I bought it at Whole Foods. Forget what it's called.
I think you have the Nature's Gate as well, too. I want to say,
so.
I think I told you about
if we bought the same one, then yeah.
I think you have the Nature's Gate as well, too. And then also for body wash, I've been liking the Dr. Bronner's natural Castile soap body wash.
I haven't tried that yet. What's it like?
Oh, dude, it's awesome, man. I mean, it foams up well. And actually, the best part about it, it's not that expensive, and it lasts you so long. Like, if you use a loofah, those little...
Yeah. Little scrubber things.
Scrubber things that are puffed out and everything.
Ever since I started using that, my showers are just so much better.
I know, right?
Where have I been?
You're
showering 20 years.
Your skin, getting all that off. But no, it lasts a long time. You only need a little bit. It's very liquidy. It's not like jelly. Mm-hmm. So, you just put a little bit on the loofah, rub it in, foams up just awesomely.
Oh, nice.
And it'll last a long time, too, actually. Just a little dab on there is almost too much soap for your body, actually. And you could use it for anything. You could use it for your hair. You could use it as just a normal hand soap. You could use it as, body wash as well, too. The benefits of it, I mean, it's a natural Castile soap. You also have organic coconut oil in there, so it's great for moisturizing your skin. It has tea tree in there as well, too. Tea tree's giving it the nice aroma that it has, a natural aroma to it. So it's not one of those, like, chemically strong aromas that you kind of have with normal shampoos and body washes these days.
And still, that's a big thing. We're just trying to get the toxins away from us.
Yeah.
Because we're such in a toxic-filled world all around us with people giving off bad energy vibes. That's almost a toxin to yourself with the food, the water, the everything. And then it's eliminating those toxins and watching your body going right back to like how it should be. Your body will almost bounce right back. And sometimes it doesn't. And you need to maybe take some herbs or anything to get yourself naturally, get your glands and everything naturally back going how it should be, because the toxins have enabled them to perform at their peak potential.
And I mean, the one thing is like everybody, going on these diets and everything, and well, this doesn't work, or I'm taking these pills and this doesn't work, or that doesn't work. But the fact of the matter is that nobody's removing the toxins from their diet, or from just in general. They're just not removing the toxins.
Yes.
And it's playing like chemical havoc on your hormones in your body.
A big thing with diets nowadays, all people want to do in their diet is just count calories. And that's all they think is that's what a diet is. Yeah. Just, if I just restrict this number I'm on, then everything should be better. But what people should be doing is not counting calories, but counting chemicals.
Oh, yeah.
And it's even if the lower calorie foods have more chemicals in them.
Oh, yeah. They definitely do.
And that's what's even making it worse is that you're not fixing the problem. You're just putting a Band-Aid on it.
It's like you're dropping the calories, increasing the chemicals.
Yeah, so at that point, you're not really even doing anything to yourself.
Now you think about it, you're dropping calories, so you're dropping nutritional value of your food. So now you don't even have enough antioxidants or enzymes or probiotics or prebiotics in the food that you're eating to actually break down these toxins and get rid of them.
Yeah.
So now you're making yourself nutrient deficient and you're increasing the chemicals. So that's like just a double havoc on your body, actually, I would believe, right? I mean, that's what I would presume.
I can see it, definitely.
I mean, you're eating all these chemicals, you're putting them in your shampoos, and your body's just going, your hormones are just going way out of whack, saying, what the hell is this that I'm, having in me?
And that's a big thing, is that all these toxins are like destroying you hormonally.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't feel as great. You don't have enough energy. You're not losing enough weight. You're not maintaining a proper equilibrium in your bodies because your hormones are all out of whack and all out of balance to even cope with the amount of toxins that are coming in. If you're already at a depleted state, now you're putting more toxins on top of it. It's not going to help anything.
No, it's not. And I mean, everybody these days, I have people that come into the GNC all the time, energy problems. They're not going to sleep as easy. They run into all these problems. And the first thing I ask people is, well, what are you eating? Like, I mean, that's like the main thing. What are you eating? What's the water you're drinking? If anything, I shouldn't even say what you're eating. What's the water you're drinking?
Yeah.
Like, what, 70-80% of our bodies are water?
And people are just drinking the tap water?
People are just drinking the tap water filled with chlorine, sodium fluorides, chemicals. I don't even know what other chemicals.
Glyphosates from the runoff, from the pesticides.
There you go. I mean, these are all the things that we're ingesting every day. And we're wondering why we have thyroid problems, adrenal problems, pineal gland problems in your brain, why your intuition's not good, why your energy's not good.
Yep.
Why you're in a zombie-like state all day. It's because you're
running on toxins all day.
You're chemically doped up.
It's like an engine. Your body's an engine. And the blood is the oil, and all the different organs are different parts of the engine, the cylinders, the spark plug, everything. And if you're putting horrible gasoline, just dirty...
And horrible oil.
And horrible oil into the engine, it's going to break down. That's why everybody says with cars, if you know cars out there, keep your engine clean, keep your oil clean, keep everything fluid and ready to go. And it's the same thing with your body. If you're bringing in dirty gas, dirty food, dirty water, you're being around a lot of electromagnetic radiation from the cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
And the wireless
technological toxins.
Yes. With the wireless radiation, like, think about it. The wireless radiation is just going out. It's all around us everywhere. Even in our phones, in our pockets all day. Microwaves and everything. It's just sitting next to us, and we're just enveloped in it.
You know what the funny thing is? I'm surprised we're still alive. I mean, all these toxins.
I'm alive for a purpose.
I mean, all we have almost like in a normal average American day is toxins all day long. You're just being bombarded.
And we're seeing the side effects from it. We're seeing the cancer rates increase. We're seeing people, not even people, like zombies. And you definitely see what's going on in the big agricultural, coupled with the big pharmaceutical companies. And you can see the result all around you. Everybody knows somebody that's sick. Everybody knows somebody that at least has cancer or had cancer and passed away. And what are we doing about it? Everybody just wants to count calories and stay away.
I mean, I had a couple of statistics here from Statistic Brain, and the first leading cause of death in the United States is, heart disease. I think that's been up there for quite some time. And the second one is cancer. And different types of cancer anywhere. So you could see just from heart disease, from the crappy food that we're eating. Oh, yeah. We're not eating good fats that are helping our heart or our organs or anything.
No, because everybody's on a low-fat
diet. And so that's just causing heart disease. Now, we made low-fat like a fad back when we had like no heart problems. And so now that actually the low-fat kind of era has come in, now we're having heart problems. Like, why did we change something that was doing perfectly fine? And we're like, no, you know what? We're not going to do this low or this high fat anymore. It's making people fat. And actually, here we go. We got David.
Oh, my God. I took the microphone
off the mic over here. He wanted to take it for a little walk. He wanted to take it for a little walk today. Walk around the studio here. And then you have the third leading cause of death, which is preventable medical errors. I mean, now imagine the toxins that most of society today are on prescription drugs. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many people...
And I want to know what the prescription drugs are doing to the health effects of everybody. And you can see, I mean, people on antidepressants and stuff like that are gaining weight.
Yeah.
They're destroying their hormonal system, so they can't even cope with the toxins in the world anymore.
I don't think a lot of people can cope. I'd probably actually say majority. I'd say the minority of people actually can cope with it. I'd say the majority can't cope anymore.
Oh, and you see it.
I mean, you just need a couple of these symptoms to tell you that, hey, you're out of balance.
Yeah.
Either you're low on energy, your testosterone's low, you're overweight.
And everybody's body is telling them that. Everybody understands, like, our bodies don't speak words to us how we would understand. They speak in pains and in oh, I feel tired, or I'm gaining more weight. There's something wrong at the source, and we need to fix what's wrong at the source instead of just going on and
after the symptoms
keep putting Band-Aids on everything.
It's like one of the guys that I listen to on YouTube, and I look up some of his research, and I've have one of his books called Eat, Move, and Be Healthy by Paul Chek, but he talks about the whole problem with diagnosing the symptom is it's like a guy walking around out in the desert or something, or out in the mountains, and he's got a rock in his shoe. But he keeps on walking around. He's like, oh, well, the rock hurts in my shoe. It's not normal. Keeps on walking around, takes a painkiller to stop the pain of the rock in his shoe.
Or I'm just going to wear a different shoe.
And he keeps on walking around with the rock. Well, now the rock's eating away at the flesh. Now his foot's got gangrene or something in his shoe. Now they have to cut off the leg. And that's what modern day society is like. Yo, I'm going to take this painkiller. It's really not helping anything. And then sooner or later down the line, I'm going to have a bad disease or a problem from this.
And look at what's going on. Big Agra is putting the toxins in the food, or allowing them to be put in. And they clearly know that these are going to cause health effects.
Oh, yeah.
And then what happens? You grow up in the big agri society. You eventually get sick, and what do you move into? The big pharma realm. And now you're on all these drugs.
It's a cycle.
Exactly.
It's a disgusting cycle that we keep on going.
So now you're on all these drugs, and you're still eating the same thing you were eating before. You didn't change anything about yourself to even get yourself better.
And the thing is, there was a great interview that Troy Casey did with some pharmaceutical companies, and one of the ladies went to her boss and said, oh, there's this machine or whatever. It helps us figure out cancer early, helps us kind of kill it off. And the boss or whatever, this company, he's like, that's going to help people. He goes, why do we want to heal people?
It's not about helping people. It's about increasing profits.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about.
Keeping people in a sick state.
Exactly.
All day long.
Because when you're sick, you're easily controlled. On all types of control levels you want to go.
Mentally, too, you're docile from the chemicals.
Yes, and people are just giving too much over to their doctor and advocating their own health and just giving it over to somebody else.
But anyways, right after this, we're going to have Anthony Malchiodi on the phone for a nice little interview we're going to do with him, talking about these toxins, your diet, and what we can do to help all ourselves out on this journey of becoming toxic-free human beings. But we'll hear right back with Anthony right after these messages.
Rock Your Health Radio.
Here we are back with InformNation, 23 minutes past the hour worldwide. And what we have for everybody today is a special guest. He has another show on our radio station called Rock Your Health Radio. And his name is Anthony Malchiodi.
Welcome, Anthony.
Welcome to the radio show, Anthony. And Anthony here is a licensed holistic health practitioner who specializes in functional neurology, quantum reflex analysis, and quantum biofeedback. He has been in practice for 20 years and has an office in Chicago and Wheaton, which you can contact him if you want to set up an appointment through the phone number of 630-510-3180 or at his new website, newlifeholistic.com. He also has the weekly radio show. If you guys want to listen to him, catch up more with him on Tuesdays from 8 to 9 Central Standard Time, and it's called Rock Your Health Radio. But here he is, the one, the only, Anthony Malchiodi. How you doing today, Anthony?
Hi, doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's wonderful having you on the one radio show today, coming on our You Are What You Eat series.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is what InformNation's all about, is bringing more messages out there to the public.
And I think you have a quite important message that you're trying to tell people, right, Anthony?
Sure. You know, what you guys were talking about before is dead on. If they go to the website, they go to newlifeholistic.com, you'll see the testimonies of the patients that we've worked with, and they're incredible testimonies. And our method, we have a patented method that we use with each patient because we know each patient that we see is biospecific. So we don't look at people and say, you need to eat this, or you need to take this, because everyone has their own biochemistry. And ultimately, if you can remove toxins, that's one of the first things we do. Half of the symptoms that they walk in the door with are going to disappear. So they're toxic, they're just byproducts of a highly toxic body. So you have someone who comes in with migraines, and now you're going to try and treat it with prescription drugs. You're adding a toxin to fix a toxic problem. And if they say, well, I'm going to go the holistic route, and instead I'm going to take white willow bark, you're still not addressing why it occurred in the first place. You may be treating it holistically, like some practitioners do, but you need to really find out, why are they coming in your office with this symptomology? It all stems from what we've seen in 20 years from overtoxicity. And you even mentioned the diseases that are out there. You can look at every disease from cancer to heart disease. You'll see that they all have a toxicity component and then a nutrient deficient component.
So they're not actually having enough nutrients to even detoxify yourself, because most foods these days are processed and nutrient deficient foods. I mean, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. And, we'll have people who come in and they say, I talked to my medical doctor, and he said he doesn't believe in supplements because he said that I can get all the nutrients I need from my food. And then when I get done laughing, I say, well, first of all, medical doctors have 6 hours of nutrition for them to graduate, number one.
That's sad.
Oh,
number two, all the nutrients in the foods that we see today are basically void. They're gone. And it's from over-farming, and it's from growing products in soil that's mineral deficient.
Oh, definitely.
Because you've over-farmed all the soil. So the food can only draw into it what's in the ground. And when the grounds are just over-farmed, you deplete the nutrients, and they proved it with an ORAC study. They said back in the 40s and 50s, you could eat one peach and get nutrient value. To get the same nutrient value today, you'd have to eat 6 peaches.
Holy. That's a lot of peaches that you'd have to eat. So it's like 6 times, or it's void of 6 times as less nutrients.
Exactly. And think about it, like you had mentioned before, you're dead on. You're not eating food anymore. You're eating things that look like food.
I call them Franken
but
food.
Your body only wants to take in that food for one reason, not because how it tastes or how you grew up or what it wants to take in that food to extract nutrients from it to keep your machine running. That's what it wants. And you're giving it food that is full of pesticides, and it's GMO food, and your body doesn't recognize it. It wreaks havoc. It actually disrupts your hormones, and it looks at it as a toxin. So now you're eating these foods, and even if you said, tomorrow morning, I'm just going to start eating vegetables, and that's all I'm going to do, you're still going to get sick unless you're finding organic vegetables.
That's true, because the vegetables are, you said, so depleted nowadays. And I even compared a little bit ago, I compared to the human body to like a car engine. And if you're putting in bad gasoline and bad things into the engine, eventually there's going to be buildups and muck and stuff like that that's going to destroy the engine from the inside out.
Sure. Exactly. We always use the analogy like a fish tank. And you have all these fish floating around, and every day you're dumping more stuff into that water in the fish tank. Pretty soon, algae begins to grow, disease begins to set in, the fish die, they can't swim, you can't even see through the water anymore, and that's your blood.
Oh, definitely.
That's the disgusting what's happening to today's race. And I think a lot of people, I know me and you were talking about this, a a little bit earlier this week, but I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions on what people should be eating, and what they think they're eating is right, but it's really not. And I mean, I have people come into GNC all the time. I'm like, well, what are you eating? And I try to tell all these people, and a lot of them are like, well, I don't want stimulants, I don't want this. It's like, okay, you're on the right path there. You're not trying to take in more caffeine. You're trying to go natural. Mm-hmm. But the one question what I ask people is, what are you eating? What are you drinking? Are you going organic? And I try to reference that, you should be taking all these toxins out of your diet. And it's like, eat what you're eating, but make it all organic and take out the toxic foods. Don't change anything else. Eat what you're eating. Just take out the toxins. I mean, is that good information to pass off to people, or?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I would always go back to the chemistry. That's what we're looking at. And by chemistry, you need specific nutrients for your body to run, and you need protein. So, yes, that is the approach that we would always do as vegetables and protein. When it comes to fruits, we say limit it, because sugar is sugar. So if they say, well, but it's sugar from fruit, it's still sugar. And we look at limiting fruit maybe twice or 3 times a week. And if you are going to do the fruits, we go with low glycemic. So the blueberries, the strawberries, blackberries, something low glycemic. But yeah, the key is, number one, stop the toxins. So if you have a house that's on fire, and every day you wake up and you run up to the house and throw a bucket of gasoline on the house, how are you putting out the fire?
Exactly.
Keeping it burning.
Right.
I don't think people think that they're actually toxifying their bodies. I think they think these are like normal symptoms of like age or things like that, and like there's huge misconceptions. And I know one of the questions we were talking about, it's you're not what you eat, but you are what you absorb. And I think people's bioavailability these days, I think, does the toxins cut out like bioavailability? Like, do they not help you absorb anymore? Do they push out, certain good good antioxidants? Like what I'm saying is, the more chemicals you bring in, is it making your body less bioavailable to the good stuff that wants to come in?
Yeah, sure. You're going to lower your absorption rate. And that's why I say a lot of these things you're taking in as a toxic, you are actually using up the stored nutrients that you have. Those stored nutrients have to go to dilute this toxin. And they have a new thing that's out that they study called environmental weight gain. And at this point, the person becomes so toxic that the body begins to take on water and fat just to kind of corral all this toxin that's in the body. So when they looked at body fat samples, they were able to find Tylenol in people's body fat.
Oh, wow.
They were able to find all these toxins and the glyphosate that you talk about. Everything's there, and it's just because that's what they're putting in their mouth. And, if you are able to get them just to see that picture, but going back to even a bigger point that you brought up, which is dead on, when a person is toxic, their level, their vibration of their whole body, and this is on a quantum physics level, they're a low vibration. You can tell them right to their face, this is what you need to do, this is whatever, and they're stuck in a fog. They don't even understand what you're saying. So it's kind of a self-perpetuating cycle. You become toxic, and it dumbs down the person. And now the person, just like a drug addict, has to go back to those toxins just to feel normal.
Oh, so it'd almost be like the foods and the toxins you're bringing in are making you more ignorant.
Exactly. Yeah, that's proven. Yeah, if you read the book Grain Brain, written by a neurologist. So some people, you bring up different facts and they say, yeah, but that wasn't written by a doctor. Like a doctor knows better than...
Yeah, I know, right? I deal with that all the time with people at GNC. I deal with that with people all the time. I deal with that with people all the time at GNC because I get mentored by a doctor as well, but she's not like a doctor. She actually writes books on nutrition, and she's into the neuroscience. And you might have heard of her before. Her name's Dr. Teresa Nesbitt, and she's kind of on the same
work.
Yeah, she's on the kind of the same path as you as well. And I try to tell these people, I'm like, your doctor said this, or I'm like, but I have it on good knowledge that it's this, and this way. And they're like, well, you're not a doctor. You don't know anything. My doctor knows all this. I'm like, well, your doctor took like maybe 1 semester of nutrition. They have no idea how your body works on a nutritional level. All they know is symptoms and prescriptions, symptoms and prescriptions.
And that's all. And it's true because people in society today only refer to doctors as their only source of knowledge, of medical knowledge for themselves. Like they've abdicated their responsibility for taking care of themselves and knowing what they should be putting in their own bodies relative to what their lifestyles are and how they are as a person, but they just give it over to this doctor who just gives like a mass blanket of things to everybody.
It's like a facade. Like they're giving you like this little facade of things that are supposed to be healthy, but they're really just hurting you.
Well, this goes back all the way to your first show that I listened to. That's all part of the programming.
Yeah.
From the time you're a child, you are programmed when you have a health issue. Your own intuition and your own research is rubbish, that you need to go to the expert because only he knows and only he can fix you.
Yes.
So that's why you have in this country 55,000 people who died from taking Vioxx. Who gave them Vioxx? Their doctor. So they trusted this person. They went home, they took the Vioxx, and 55,000 died.
I actually saw a commercial on the television for deaths from Vioxx. You know, all those commercials that come on and says, oh, if someone was given this and this, you die, you have a lawsuit. I saw Vioxx on there. I didn't understand what it was. But after I heard your show last week and talking about Vioxx, I looked it up, and wow, it was so true.
Oh, it's global. I mean, here in America, they put it at 55,000. I'm sure it's well over that. But globally, it's in the hundreds of thousands. So, again, you know, this, and, you know, I have friends who are medical doctors, and they actually laugh about it because what happens is when a new drug comes on the market, a new pharmaceutical, they have a rep from the pharmaceutical company who comes in and they host a lunch for the doctors, which is usually pizza. And they sit around and they have pizza, and in 30 minutes, they tell them, okay, this is the new product. It's Vioxx. It's going to be incredible. It's a pain reliever. Here's how you give it. Here's a bunch of free samples here. So the only education they have on the product, they didn't develop the product. They're not a pharmacist, and they're not a chemist. The only knowledge they have is what was told to them over a pizza lunch, and then they go back into their office and spread it as if it's gospel.
Oh, definitely.
and then they're getting you know, bounce backs of like perks, like money, dinners, vacations, and everything from these
Cruises,
pharmaceutical reps.
Yeah, they get vacations, they get they have all incentives for them to push that drug.
You know, I was actually I brought this up a little bit earlier here about in our first segment. I was talking about an interview that one of my friends has out in California, Troy Casey, and he was talking about how these pharmaceutical companies, when they make a drug, they have to go. It's like a 5 or 6 year process to get everything approved, the ingredients, the research. But what they end up doing then is it takes that long. They'll take the same formula, and they don't even call them side effects. They call them the effects of the drug. So one of the drugs could have the same properties, same chemicals, and it says, oh, it's good for glaucoma. But then they could market the same exact drug for like lengthening your eyelashes. Same drug, 2 different things. He goes, the side effects, he goes, those are the effects. He goes, and they just push every little category of the effects, and they just say, well, okay, well then we're going to push it for glaucoma, so all the others are side effects. Or we're going to push it for lengthening eyebrows, and all the others are side effects. Or we're going to push this for constipation, and all these others are the side effects. But they're using the same drug over and over and over again, just pushing it with different names on it.
Yeah, and what it all comes back to is walking into that doctor's office, being informed, doing your own research, taking your own responsibility for anything that you're going to place in your body or give to your child.
Yes.
And one thing that doctor will never be able to produce is when he says, I need you to take this, and I need you to take this inhaler for your child, and I need this allergy med for your child. You say, okay, but I'm kind of worried because those look like they could really be toxic. And he says, no, here is the individual studies on each. And you look at them and you say, okay, that's great. And this is important for everyone out there. ask the doctor, can I see the research where those three are combined? And it doesn't exist.
And the
So
research...
say you're telling me to take 3 of these drugs. Can I see the research where they gave those 3 to people and what happened?
And the worst,
there is none.
And the worst part about it is that the research is done sometimes by the pharmaceutical company itself. Like they will,
It always is.
They will do their own
It's always
research. Go ahead.
It's provided by the company or the biotech firm that the company hires.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you want to talk about like having an inside hand on how these drugs are coming to market. They're doing their own research and coming out with their own numbers.
Oh yeah, definitely. It goes to show that Big Agra is conspiring with Big Pharma in technically, if you want to consider it a war, basically a war on human health.
Yeah, well, a war on depopulation.
Yes, that's definitely
what it comes down to.
Oh yeah,
and the funny thing, the way you could change it all, and they'll never do it, is get someone in Congress, get someone in office to enact a bill that says all research, medical, for any pharmaceutical product must be done by an unbiased third party. Can't be done by the one that you hire. It all has to go through. But they're going to tell you, well, that's what the FDA is for. And the funny thing, you could tell this to your doctor. Every single drug that's been pulled by the FDA, every single drug that the FDA found to cause death was once approved through the FDA.
Yeah. The FDA is it might as well just be these corporations' little group that they have to push policies because they all work for the same companies.
Oh, definitely. It's like a front. It's just, we use the FDA to just verify everything that we've come up with.
Yeah, and people are like even in my GNC store, people are like the herbs and stuff or whatever, like, oh, is this FDA approved? And I always kind of make the funny joke. I'm like, nothing in here is FDA approved. I'm like, but does it even really matter if it was FDA approved or not?
And some of the stuff that is FDA approved is worse for you than the stuff that isn't FDA approved.
Well, here's what's funny. Even if the FDA was unbiased, all the FDA does is sits down and reads the research that you're putting in their hand. So even if the FDA said, we're going to be totally straightforward with this, have total integrity, and we're really going to look at this under a microscope, all they're looking at is what you gave them. So if all you give them is positive, that's all they can look through.
Yeah, I've read that, especially with like water companies and everything, all the water that they push out into the water bottles. The FDA doesn't look through it. All it is just the private company sending in, oh, here's what our lab test came up with, what's in the water. Oh, and then the FDA looks at it. Oh, it looks pretty good at my end. It's approved, and then it just goes to market then. And now it's killing everybody, giving people cancers, thyroid problems, penile problems, adrenal problems. And in the list continues.
Here's what's scary about the water is you mentioned the key players that have been there forever, and fluoride is there to keep people docile, and that's why it's added to the water.
Mm-hmm.
But what you left out is they proved this in Canada now that all the medications that people take all leave the body. So they leave the body through urine, through fecal matter, and those chemicals that your body, 80% of it, your body gets rid of. So all these prescription drugs enter back into the water system. And you say, well, that's okay because we filter the water. It's all filtered. Guess what? They found out in Canada, they admitted under their hearings, there are no filters to take out pharmaceutical drugs from water.
Oh, my God.
Wow, so we're all being dosed up with Xanax, Prilosec, and
we're dosed up on other people's prescriptions.
Yeah, and when people tell you, well, that's good because I don't drink tap water. I just drink this water, or I just drink this juice, or I just drink that. Well, look at the first ingredient on the juices that you buy at Jewel or anywhere.
It's
the
water.
First ingredient always is water. It's not filtered. They're
it's
using
regular tap water.
So the water already for a base is full of pharmaceuticals and fluoride, and then they're adding some food coloring to it. And the funny thing is, read the label close. It says only 15% is actual juice.
Yeah.
So
And it's high fructose corn syrup juice, not even real juice. But hey, when we come back, we're going to be talking more with Anthony Malchiodi of Rock Your Health Radio. We broke down what's going on with all the toxins, and we're going to figure out what we can do with all the toxins and get them out of our system. So
we'll be right back with you, Anthony. Back with InformNation here, continuing the series of You Are What You Eat with Anthony Malchiodi here, talking a little bit about toxins, talking about toxic burdens on the body. And I know David wanted to ask Anthony here, what is a toxic burden?
Yeah, Anthony, you used the term toxic burden, and I like it because the toxins basically are burdening you. They're just weighing you down, making you less of a human, basically, less of a live human being. So how would you describe what is this toxic burden?
Toxic burden is just the total of all the toxins people take in during a lifetime or during a day, and those toxins have to be cleared from the blood. So when you have a high toxic burden, your liver's never going to shut off, your kidney's never going to get rest, your immune system's going to start attacking stuff, and after time your immune system will become exhausted, so you have suppressed immunity. And now, because you have all these things going on, your overall health drops. And I always tell people, just imagine if they had a book bag on their back and they woke up in the morning and they brushed their teeth with toxic triclosan. Well, put a brick in that bag or a rock. And then they take a shower and sodium fluoride, and I'll put another rock in that bag. Then you have some high fructose corn syrup in your orange juice.
The following is a mechanically reproduced announcement.
Thanks, Todd. Sorry, Anthony.
No problem.
That's live radio.
That all adds to that book bag. So now you got people who are just walking through life with this 60-pound book bag on their back, and they say, well, I'm always tired, I don't feel good, my joints hurt. It's the toxic burden is what's doing all the symptoms they have.
So people are walking around with a backpack full of toxins. And, I mean, those toxins are, as we said, we're talking about a little bit last week, too, talking about the three different ways that they're coming. So it's either near you, you're putting it on you, or you're ingesting it.
Yeah, when people will say, well, I don't know how I have toxins because I don't do anything and I try and eat healthy. And what we just said is what they think healthy is that they eat vegetables. But if the vegetables are poison, then it's no good. They say, but I eat fish and I eat this and that. Well, even the food that we eat, those foods are all being fed toxic grains because it's very cheap to grow. So they're all being fed GMO corn. They're all being fed soy. And the report out of Vietnam, the FDA found out that shrimp coming into America from Vietnam, and it was going to Costco and everywhere else, they were growing shrimp in these big pools, farm-raised, and they were feeding the shrimp pig feces.
Oh my God.
So we're eating, lack of a better word, we're eating crap.
Yeah. So the food that you eat, you're going to take on what the food ate. So if the food ate toxic GMO pesticide grains, it's in the tissue, and now you eat the tissue, so that's going to do it. So anything you take in, and that's your foods, and that would be even down to supplements. And, they just did a report on that a lot of the supplements, they said long-term will cause cancer. And you think, well, how could a supplement cause cancer? This is just propaganda. But when you look at the research of it, a lot of the binders, fillers, magnesium stearate is one of them, talc. They know talc causes cancer in the human.
That's like baby powder, right?
Yeah. In order to get the capsules to flow through the machines faster and to put the powder in the capsule, they use talc as a gliding agent. And if you say, well, I don't think I should be taking this talc because it's a cancer causer, they'll say, well, it's microscopic, the amount that's in this capsule. You can never get cancer. Yeah, But if that person takes that supplement for 10 years, there's a bioaccumulation of talc.
Exactly.
You can't look at the individual bottle. You have to look at overall intake of that cancer causer. So that's how they're finding supplements long term. Or if you get a supplement company that is using solvents to extract a certain nutrient. So they'll farm a certain herb, and they say, well, I want the ginsenosides from ginseng. Well, then they're going to soak it. What are they soaking it in? Is it pure alcohol, which is okay, or is it a chemical, a petrochemical? Now you have ginseng that's soaking in petrochemical. It's air-dried and put in a capsule.
That's just disgusting.
You think you're doing something good taking the supplements, and really you have to get the purest form out there that you can get, because you can end up getting toxins from supplements.
I want to bring it back to the food, like the livestock and animals being fed these GMO products. And I just had a thought right now. The whole grass-fed craze that's going on with grass-fed meat and stuff like that, could you say it could be bad that the grass that these animals are eating are grown with pesticides and enhancing agents to make the grass, grow faster or be better? Could that have something to do with it? I just had that thought right now.
Sure, and you would have to do your research on that they're, having them graze in natural fields, not having them graze in a football field pen where they've grown grass using ChemLawn.
That just always grows the grass, just more faster and everything?
Yeah, because if they can, just like the farm-raised tilapia, everyone's got on this tilapia craze that it was the best thing you could eat, and I'm going to go get a bunch of it. Well, you got to look on the label. If it's farm-raised, they're basically putting the fish in a pen, and then every day they're feeding the fish pellets, which look like dog food. And all they do is they throw scoops full of pellets. The pellets are made of the GMO corns, the soy. So you have a fish that's eating dog food. That's in the tissue. And then you're eating the fish thinking you're doing something healthy. You want fish that's wild caught. When they're wild, they're eating their natural diet. Then you can get the omegas. Then you can get everything that the fish is taking in and converting, and it's in the fish's tissue.
I had a question on that, actually. So if we have these animals that are eating either pesticides, or they're eating these corn.
Or they're eating pig feces.
Yeah, or they're eating pig feces. Now, toxins in the body are stored in fat. Now, the question is, if you go to eat these animals, would it be less beneficial to eat their fat then? Because wouldn't most of the toxins be stored in the fat?
Yeah, a large amount of the toxins in your body, which your body cannot get to at the time. So think of it like I said before, you start out your morning and you're already toxic, and now lunchtime comes around, you're going to throw more toxins in. The liver says, you know what? I'm so full of sludge right now, I can't even get to that. So put that to the side. I'll get to it later. Well, when it puts it to the side, it's going to go in the body fat.
So now, would that play true? Like, if I ate a steak and that cow was eating corn and antibiotics and had all those toxins, and that piece of steak had a nice chunk of fat on it, and maybe I'm a fan of eating the fat, would that be more detrimental to my health for eating that piece of fat compared to the muscle tissue? I get that the muscle tissue still has the bad properties to it, but would that be like a toxic depository for the animal if I ate that fat? Would I just be eating all those toxins that it's built up within that little piece of fat?
Yeah, it would be a larger amount of it.
Okay.
And it depends on, if it's abdominal fat, if it's where the fat's from. But, yeah, usually more around the organs. So, and at one point, remember, liver was a healthy food. But now, liver is the filter for the blood. And if it's filtering out toxins, I wouldn't want to eat liver. I'm eating the filter.
You wanna eat like a truly organic, natural raised liver if you're gonna do anything like that. You're gonna want to do some research before you eat liver.
Right.
Because I mean, on the opposite side of it, liver has a lot of beneficial elements to it as well, because it does have all the properties to remove toxins from your body. So that would mean if you ate all those toxins or if you ate the liver, you would get a lot of those. I can't think of the word right now, but antitoxins.
Right.
That you'd be eating then too. You just need to find a quality food of liver then.
Yeah. So that speaks to the whole things that you take in. And when they say, well, I'm not toxic because I don't do this, well, you show them all the foods and you say, well, are you eating these foods? And they say, well, yeah. Okay, well, then you are toxic. Then you look at everything they're drinking. And again, it goes back to high fructose corn syrup or high sugar or chemical additives. And they say, no, I don't drink anything with sugar. Well, then they're using aspartame, so that's a neurotoxin.
Mm-hmm.
So
sucralose is the same as aspartame too, right?
Yeah. Anything they eat or drink. And then when you go beyond that, you say, are you taking any pharmaceuticals? And they say yes. Are you taking any supplements? They say yes. So you show them just from that point alone, the things they're taking in, they're blown away. They're like, wow, I'm totally toxic. And you say, well, we haven't even gotten to what you put on your body or near your body. We still have 2 more pages to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know like all these toxins are like building up inside of us over years of all this, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how to detox the proper way to get your body back in order and back working how it should be. So we'll be back right after this.
InformNation Radio, back here with Anthony Malchiodi. And here we are talking about your system, your body system, talking about toxins in it, how to detox yourself, where you're picking up these toxins from, and what we're going to do about getting rid of these toxins out of our diet.
And that's definitely true, because here at InformNation, we're all about solutions.
Yeah.
We're not about just putting a Band-Aid on. We're about finding the real cause and fixing the cause at the source.
Mm-hmm. But on the break, I was actually talking a little bit with Anthony here, a story I had. We were talking about vitamin water, and then we were talking about sugar and how it could actually, break down your immune system and actually leave you susceptible to having a cold, sickness, a disease, or something for a short time period. But I was telling him that I was watching a video on vitamin waters and how it shuts down your immune system for about 8 to 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And in the next couple of minutes, I actually had my neighbor that I work next to, he's in the next storefront next to me, came over. He was drinking a vitamin water, and I just went on a little bit of a rant with him about what actually the vitamin water does. I was like, I was just watching this video. It shuts down your immune system. And he was like, well, I thought these, were good for you. They had all the vitamins in them. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, those are synthetic vitamins. I'm like, they're not good. The sugar shut down your immune system. He's like, oh, whatever, to who, to you. And then the next day, he was sick. Yeah. He got a cold the next day. He's like, dude, I'm like, I told you vitamin water. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm not going to drink those ever again. I'm like, see, I told you.
And the sad thing is, for some people, like, they need that.
Yeah.
They need to have the first-hand experience, because we've gone through this whole culture today where the only person you can believe is the expert, is the doctor.
Yeah.
Nobody else has a valid opinion out there and knows the right answer besides the directed person that you're supposed to be going to. And even those people, they don't even have the answer.
Yeah.
They just have the pitched answer that they were given and that they just spout out.
But anyways, I want to get hit back here with Anthony. We're talking about, eating things near your body. So what's some other toxins that people are picking up that they don't even notice?
Well, after we go through the list, we find that they are toxic just by what they're taking in. Then the next page we go into is anything they put on their body. And like you were talking about at the beginning of the show, it's all the chemicals that they're putting on their body. Their shower is already full of fluoride, so that's a chemical, chlorine. And the thing that people leave out is not only does it go through the skin transdermally, but when you're taking a hot shower, it becomes steam. So you are taking in the chlorine and the fluoride into the lungs through steam.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge. And then anything near the body, and this would be anything that has to do with EMF, Wi-Fi, radiation, microwaves. And people say, well, how could that harm you? They did studies on microwaves. They only study the unit itself. And when a cell phone comes out, they just study the cell phone. They don't have any research that shows when you combine all these things in a home, what happens to a person's biofield or biochemistry. So we say, from a neurology standpoint and from quantum physics, that all the cells in your body, they're able to communicate. But when you are in that high electrical field or radiation or microwave, you create such a loud static that at that point it's hard for cells to communicate with each other. So you just create this mess, and then on top of it, like you said, you drink the sugar and you turn off the immune. And just speaking to that point for a minute, think about how many kids wake up, have a bowl of sugar cereal, wash it down with a glass of orange juice that has 35 grams of sugar, the same as a can of Coke, and then this kid is put into his classroom where it's a petri dish for bacteria and virus.
Oh, and they're supposed to learn in there?
Get sick. Well, because you shut off his immune at the breakfast table, and then you throw him into the Shark Tank, and you wonder why he gets sick.
Yeah, everyone always says the thing, well, when we have kids, kids spread all the colds and everything, and everything throughout the schools. Well, maybe if you didn't all jack them up with sugar in the morning, they'd have a better immune system to go throughout the day with.
I mean, that also goes into, we're jacking these children up with sugar every day, just constantly, and then they're forced to sit into a classroom where they're just supposed to sit still all day, and they can't. And then what do we think they are? Oh, they have ADHD or they have ADD. When it's not even that, they're just so hyper off all the sugar that they're eating and
then they have
stuff.
Downs from the sugar too.
Yeah,
They're coming down
and then what do they put them on? Ritalin and Adderall and stuff like that. All these pharmaceuticals that are again hindering them. So you're just hitting it with a double-edged sword right there.
Well, that's engineered obsolescence, right? So if you can they know, a pharmaceutical company knows, the sooner you become a customer, you're a customer for life. So the sooner they could get you involved, the sooner. So now you do give that kid the pharmaceuticals to deactivate what you're doing to him in your home. So you're causing it when you feed your child. Then you're looking to the doctor to fix what you yourself are causing, and the way he fixes it is with a pharmaceutical toxin. So now, and as he begins to keep getting sick, the next thing they do is he needs more vaccines, more toxins put into the child. Mm-hmm. So right from the beginning, he's a customer for life. Pharmaceuticals love it. They want every child in America diagnosed with ADHD. They love it.
Actually, I saw some research came out by, I forget the guy's name, the guy who came out with the whole ADHD craze and phenomena that he started basically. He said, I saw a quote from him, that ADHD is fake. That it's not even real.
Right.
And it's just a buildup of everything that's going on throughout your child's life, and now you're being forced to sit in this school all day. And you can't.
So there's so many distractions.
Yeah, exactly. And I
mean, look at advertisements. I mean, so many
every child is going to have attention deficit because, number one, the diet that you're feeding the child. He'll never be able to focus or have attention. They said in the book Grain Brain, written by a neurologist, that grains cause brain fog, miscommunication in the brain. And when they took people off grains and they researched them, test scores went up, focus went up. So you give a child all the sugar, that makes him hyper. He can't sit still. You give him grain, and now he can't think. So now the answer is to give him drugs. Mm-hmm. And when we were growing up as kids, it wasn't called ADHD. It was just called being a kid.
Yeah. I mean, kids have energy, right?
The other factor is in these homes, you have parents who don't want to really be a parent, so they go on a long car trip and they slap an iPad in the kid's hand. That iPad is the biggest reason today in our culture that no one has an attention span for anything. No one will listen to your show, sit there and listen. A child wouldn't sit there for 2 hours. They can't. They've been programmed from all these games and even movies. It's just high action, nonstop, so they won't divert their attention. So anytime you expose them to normal behavior, they can't function. They're not programmed. You program their software to have attention span of 2 to 3 minutes.
I was thinking about that. It's becoming more and more popular, these short little, like, snippet videos. Like, you either have, like, your Instagram videos or your Vines.
Snapchats.
And I'm, like, sitting there, like I have my own YouTube channel. I'm like, how am I going to, like, ever, like, get people to sit down and listen to even, like, a 15-minute video when people's attention spans are 7 to 10 seconds for these little videos? It's like, I can't tell you everything that you need to know in 7 to 10 seconds. Like, how am I, it's a lost, like, art.
And the same thing about these kids is they're growing up into adulthood only having that short attention span. Mm-hmm. So now that they're going out into the world, they can't even have proper conversation and have intellectual thought at all because they've been programmed from an early age to never have that.
Like what I'll bring up, like me and David, when we were with our other friend Juan downtown one day, we met this very intellectual guy, actually. His name was Paris. We met him down the street. Very inspiring and motivational. He knew a lot about business and life and everything. And we actually sat there, and while we were downtown, like, just kind of walking around, we met this guy. We ended up standing in front of, like, this statue by the river. It was, the John Adams or something.
It was the George Washington statue.
George Washington statue. We were standing there talking with him for 3 hours. And at the end of the conversation, he goes, you know what? He's like, you guys are going to go somewhere. He goes, you know why? He goes, because you sat here and listened to me for 3 hours and had a conversation with me for 3 hours. He goes, you know how many people would have been out of here after 5 minutes?
Yeah, and that's the world I live in, and here's the sad part about it. The people who live the way that we live, they'll have the attention span. The sad part is they're not the ones who need the information.
Yeah.
The ones who need the information, they have the 2-minute attention span. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're going to stay exactly where they're at, and you're never going to pull them out of it.
It's sad. It's a sad truth. I mean, that's what
Well, they already proved that when they sit down with college students now and they try to have an intelligent conversation, the thing that they say has had the biggest factor for them is because they're a text generation, so everything is a text or a message.
Yeah.
And when you actually want to converse, they are used to speaking in little bursts, not having a conversation.
Yeah, I actually noticed that in real life now, actually, just talking between friends and everything like that. It's little bursts. People, I mean, I don't really surround myself with too many people like that, but people are like little bursts of like, okay, well, this is like my little snippet. That's it. That's all I have to say about it. Or they'll do the other thing where they'll go with the extreme route. They'll try to just discredit you right off the bat with like an extremist point of view. You ever had those people around you where you bring up a topic and they're like, well, what about this way? And they try to totally discredit you and just throw you an extremist idea. And it's like, well, dude, that's like the extreme end of it. Like, why are you trying to like just totally discredit me?
Yeah, it's like, of course it's not going to happen. That's the extreme version.
Yeah.
It's like, look at it at a boiled down, normal point of view. But Anthony, I want to know...
That actually goes back to cognitive dissonance, right? So they've been programmed a certain way, and after being programmed that way, after a while, they now become believers of it, and they live it. So anything that questions that, they don't want to hear it, and before you can even speak your point, the idea is to just discredit you. So if you want to talk about holistic, I would say, oh yeah, I'm in the holistic health field. And immediately they say, oh, so what are you going to tell me now? I have to strap garlics to my neck when I go to bed at night?
Yeah, it's just...
I'm like, what?
Everyone's just come on.
It's
like,
because
really?
They've grown up in front of the television since birth.
Like, sometimes I want to smack these people in the face and be like, let me smack some sense into you, boy.
And they've grown up in front of the television since birth, and they can't understand any type of a viewpoint that is outside of the mainstream spouted television. So if anybody were to come up with their own opinion, you're not allowed to have your own opinion in socialist America anymore, because that could be seen as something beneficial.
And then here, I got a quick note while we're talking about TV really quick, with eating and everything. I was listening to something with Paul Chek talking about when you eat, either when you eat, you want to have either no TV on, you want to have maybe some calming meditation, classical, nice music going on, or a TV show that's comedy. Like, it's going to be comedy. There's going to be no flip-flops of like horror or dramatic effects or anything like that. And the reason being is because the mirror neurons in your brain reflect with that. And if something happens chaotic in the TV show or anything while you're eating, your body gets like put into like a semi-flight or fight stage, and you're pretty much digestion gets like shut off almost while you're eating. I mean, is that true or?
Yeah, that in quantum physics, they call that depolarizing. So what's happening at that point is your brain is always on record, and your body always has self-preservation as the priority. So if I'm eating food and something crazy's happening on TV and it's chaotic, my body doesn't differentiate, so my body goes into fight or flight to protect me. In fight or flight, digestion takes energy. The body says, we can digest later. Let's get him out of here. So digestion stops. But on a bigger scale, depolarizing means that as you're taking in that food and you're feeling that emotion, your body is put into a state. So if it's in a state of fear and you're eating a steak, you become depolarized to steak now. So down in the future, when you eat steak, you're like, oh, I ate that steak. I don't feel good. It's not digesting.
Oh, wow.
Because the minute you put the steak back in, it went right back to fight or flight the way that it was cataloged.
Oh, wow. So it's like a holding pattern in your body.
Yeah.
Okay.
It begins to identify those foods with the emotion you had. And they proved that, when you were growing up, if your grandma made cookies, you ran in the house and you smelled the cookies and you were happy. Well, now today when they go to sell a home, they always say make sure when you're doing the home showing, bake some cookies in the kitchen.
Wow.
People walk in, they smell that, and they get that neural response.
All right, well, we'll be right back after this with InformNation, right after this short break. We'll be right back with Anthony and how to treat some of these toxins in your body. InformNation, back at you here. Talking about getting toxins out of your diet. We got Anthony Malchiodi here on the phone.
From Rock Your Health Radio.
We're getting down to some nitty-gritty things on, what's getting into your body, what's around your body, what's toxifying your body, what kind of symptoms it's causing in your body. And what we're going to talk about now is kind of how to treat these. And I know Anthony has his own clinic that he helps treat people at. And we want to know a little bit more about what you would do, Anthony, to detoxify people and what sort of steps to take that anybody could do at home and on their own. And I'd like to ask you about, coming into your facility and actually getting this biofeedback that I've heard all about.
Sure. I think the biggest factor that anyone who's listening right now, you have to understand that detoxing is a huge ordeal for your body. So when people are telling you on Facebook, you need to do a detox and you need to do this and you need to do that, if your body is already inundated with toxins and now you begin to take a supplement that flushes more toxins into the blood, the liver is going to go through the roof. The kidneys are going to go through the roof. They're already taxed. They're already burdened. And now you say, hey, I'm gonna throw a bunch of this stuff in there. How's that go? And you have to look for the exit pathways, right? So the urine, the colon. If the person has blockages, even the gallbladder itself, gallstones, you have blockages in the bile duct, and you're like, I'm going to just do this detox right out of the clear blue sky. I'm just going to go do it tomorrow. Those people get sick, and they have all the symptoms. They get flu-like symptoms. They get headaches. Their body's not ready for a detox. So anyone who's listening, before you ever even think of doing a detox, the first thing you do is decrease the toxins you're eating. Let your body readjust. Give your body a break. Overnight, your body's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not getting all those chemicals anymore. I'm not getting all those toxins. It kind of resettles itself. Then as it strengthens, because you're not constantly putting gas on the fire, you stop throwing the gas. Now you could go in and say, okay, now you're up to speed. What do we need to do to get the liver going? How do we clean that gallbladder? You could do a gallbladder flush. There's a bunch of different things out there. Slowly, you detox, and each person is different. So there's no, I'm going to do the master cleanse, and I'm going to be great. No.
So it's like when you're detoxing and your body starts to, and you're eating good foods and you're not eating the toxins anymore, and you're bringing your body back to a balanced kind of state, your body then says, well, hey, I have all these other toxins that I've built up throughout the years. Now that I'm not overwhelmed with all the new toxins coming in, I get a chance now to go back into my body from toxins that I previously stored, and I get to start breaking those down and getting rid of those.
Exactly.
I mean, that sounds the smartest way.
Overwhelm that system.
So what are some things that you can start as like a first, like out of the gate detox on how to start doing it like right from the start? For majority of people out there, they're already so toxified. So what would be a good way to, the first thing they can do, we know eliminate the toxins, but now that you've eliminated them, what are some first things you can do?
Like what's the baby steps?
Yeah, the baby steps.
Everyone's got to work in little baby steps, as I think. It just kind of helps the domino effect. You start with one little thing and moves to 2 things, 3 things, 6 things, 12 things.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you would recommend for people?
Well, again, I would go back to my filters, right? My thyroid, my kidneys, my liver, and I would say, what decreases the function of that filter? Well, caffeine, grains, everything. So before they've even done a detox, start on Monday. I'm not going to eat grains. I'm not going to have coffee. Caffeine is going to mess up my liver for up to 8 hours. Plus, caffeine's a diuretic. So here I am trying to be hydrated to flush all the toxins. But when you drink caffeine, 1 cup of coffee pushes out 2 cups of water. So you're dehydrating every time you take in a diuretic. So stop all the diuretics, stop the sodas, stop sugar, and just let that body get clean on its own. Don't shut the filters off. Don't make them work overtime. Don't push water out of your body. You need water so that you can flush all the toxins that are going to be put into the blood. So that's an easy one, and I like what you said before. Wake up in the morning, have clean water with lemon before you do anything. Have that right in the morning. Get everything up and running. Get some hydration going in that body. You've been asleep for 8 hours. Get that going. And from there, you look at specifics, but you're really taking out all the big guns that are keeping you down.
Yeah, like
all the roadblocks.
In the morning, I like to usually drink about like 8 to 16 ounces of water in the morning, and I got the filtration at my house, a little filter bottle or whatever. I want to make a move towards the glass containers, if you know what I'm talking about. Most of them come in these plastic containers.
Oh, like the 5-gallon water
Yeah, I want to
jugs?
move into the glass 5-gallon water jugs, because who the hell knows what's in those plastic ones?
I mean, BPA up front.
Yeah, well, a huge one for BPA that people don't understand is that any product that comes in a plastic bottle, number one, it's a processed food, so you're not even going to eat processed foods anymore. But say people out there, they're like, well, I get my orange juice, it's in a plastic bottle, apple juice in a plastic bottle, ketchup, and anything that's acidic, while it sits in that plastic bottle full of BPA, is slowly breaking down the petroleum-based product and leaching that into your ketchup and into your juice.
Mm-hmm. So you should just don't even worry about plastic bottles. You shouldn't be doing anything that's even stored in plastic, because right off the bat, it's bad.
If it's stored in plastic, it's processed, so it has to have preservatives to be in the plastic bottle to begin with.
Yeah. Now, drinking the water in the morning, it helps your metabolism as well too, right?
Yeah, it's metabolism, it's liver, it's kidney, lymphatic system, even the heart. They said that it's helping the heart just to get all the fluids active again and going. But, it all depends on the person. The healthier they are, when you look back at the Hippocrates Institute, they looked at blood, and they drew blood from people. And during 3 key segments, they were able to see by the blood what happens. And what they found was between 4 a.m. and noon, you have an 8-hour cycle. You have 3 8-hour cycles per day. So between 4 a.m. and noon, it was when the blood was full of the most toxic dead tissue, everything that had all the die-off is during that time, and the body's getting rid of it. It's getting rid of anything that would cause all the free radicals, anything that would cause disease. Well, the only thing that could stop your body from the cleaning cycle was digestion. So what's the first thing we're taught here in America is you wake up and you have a big breakfast. That just shut off your cleaning cycle.
Yeah, I don't.
That's Edward Bernays.
I don't eat in the morning, and I feel way better when I take my breakfast. I guess I should say way later in the day. I mean, everyone thinks of breakfast. Oh, breakfast is waking up. You need breakfast. Well, breakfast is actually considered breaking your fast. Doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be right when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just when you first eat your first meal. People have this notion that eating breakfast is what you need to do in the morning right away. But I think
that's part of the programming.
Yeah, I believe my body, at least, like I do way better with eating way later in the day. I almost do like an intermittent fasting, and I think that does really well for me.
And everybody knows the big breakfast was definitely brought on by Edward Bernays and the whole trying to get bacon and eggs as the main breakfast pitch. So he went around to a bunch of doctors and got them all to sign on and agree that, eating a big breakfast in the morning is healthy for you, and you should do that with bacon and eggs. And the reason bacon's so popular today is because of that, and to increase the sale of pork bellies at the time, which was just a garbage waste product that they were throwing away.
Yeah, exactly right. And you know what? You were saying baby steps, so maybe in the beginning, people are not ready to give up breakfast. They still have the hunger pains, and so that's fine. What you can do for them is just say, wake up and stick with a protein and a vegetable, actually, for breakfast. And when they get beyond that point, the next level is just wake up, and if you want to have maybe a cup of strawberries or blueberries for just something to eat, because the one thing that won't turn off digestion is fruit, because it's not digested in the stomach. It passes right through it. So you could eat fruit and still remain in the cleaning cycle.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Once you get beyond, or you can do juice, right? So, or you can do vegetable juice or a protein shake. Then you get away with no digestion, and the cleaning cycle continues.
Like the first thing I usually do, and I do my first meal of my day when I decide to go eat, is I usually do a grass-fed, non-homogenized whey protein that's an isolate that's been grass-fed, very clean. At least it looks clean. I don't know 100%. It's just one of the better options I guess I've made on my protein supplement in the morning. And then I do an organic greens powder, and then I throw that in with a little bit of coconut oil with some reverse osmosis water. Mix that up, and I usually just drink that. And that just right alone like holds me off for like 10 hours of eating. And then I'll eat another meal. So I usually do 2 meals in a day. That, and then I have like a nice either meats, vegetables, maybe I'll do a little rice with it. But yeah, I don't know if the rice is necessarily the best, but I've also heard that white rice is better than brown rice.
It depends on the person. Rice, the only thing that scares me is a lot of it is arsenic. Same with the protein powders. You can pick up lead and you can pick up arsenic. But the idea would be we have 3 levels where it's good, better, and then best. So when you're doing this shake that you described, that's definitely better than 90% of the people out there, what they're doing. If you want the best result, they found chemistry-wise, you always do a green drink on its own with nothing else. You just do the green drink.
What about
with
fats though? Because doesn't fat help the absorption of the greens though?
Yeah, you can do that. And here's what's crazy about it, because your parotid gland actually tags a lot of these foods. They found that when people were drinking the green shake, if they chewed it before they swallowed, actually you're doing the chewing motion. You're not chewing the shake, but just by doing that, the absorption doubled.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. They, I think we brought it up on last show. Chew your drinks,
and chewing your food more actually breaks down the food better for you.
Yeah,
and like it almost has like that trick in your mind where the chewing part of it will like trigger in your brain to be like, okay, well, I've had enough food, or I've had enough chewing. So you can say you can get fuller faster, or if you're just swallowing it all, your
brain's not keeping up with the chewing. But it was called the quote was, "Chew your water and drink your food."
Yeah. Well, someone just said, I don't know which one said it, that your saliva.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. The reason you're chewing is you want to activate the saliva, which has all the precursor enzymes, everything that's going to get that digestion going. If you just swallow it, you miss out on all the saliva and the enzymes that mix in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. And that's the first part of digestion right there. And I think a lot of people miss out on the actual chewing factor. Most people are just munching down food, and they're just taking it all in, and they're having like half-bitten parts of meat and stuff that they're not even digesting in their system then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea. Back to what you said at the top, is it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. If you're giving the body half-broken down food, it has a big problem now that it has to deal with. It has to try and break down the food that you were supposed to break down with your teeth. You were supposed to liquefy with your teeth and your saliva, and you didn't do that. And that's what you were talking about, Paul Chek. That's exactly right. People sit down now at a meal, and they wolf it down. And if you watch, and I come from an Italian family, I would say maybe people chew food maybe 10 times before they swallow it. That's probably even right. Generous. Probably 4 times. But, yeah, you want to be a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah. And I got a little note in front of me here that I wanted to bring up with you today. What do you think about multi-dimensional eating regimens that would be, eating with the seasons, eating with, what kind of lifestyle you're living, if you're a heavy athlete or a lifter, or you exercise, eating more meats for the amino acids. If you're living more of a traveler's lifestyle, if you're not doing as much heavy lifting, eat more of a vegetable style diet, and then also eat with, like I said, the seasons. So, eat lighter, leaner foods in the summer times and heavier, denser, more fatty foods into winter times.
Yeah, I totally agree. My background originally was in Chinese medicine, and they were the ones who really started that concept 3,000 years ago. They would eat with the season, and it wasn't because they knew about biochemistry. It's because that's what was available to them.
Mm-hmm.
So in the summer, you had fruits on the trees, and you had different vegetables that grew. That's what they ate. In the winter, you didn't have those things. So they'd eat more meats and more heavy foods because that's what was available.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a great way to go. I don't ever incorporate grains because I know grains are inflammatory in the body, and now I know what they do with the brain and the neurotransmitters. So grains I wouldn't ever look at. But, vegetables, and then switching up the different meats and the proteins that you take in.
Yeah, you should always be like one day, maybe you're eating chicken this day, next day eat fish, next day eat a red meat, next day maybe eat a pork or something. And so you're constantly you're not building up, because every food, no matter what, correct me if I'm wrong, but has toxins within it that your body needs to break down and get rid of. If your body is constantly eating like chicken or steak, your body can't keep up with all the toxins from the same food over and over and over again. Your body needs different foods that have different toxins that your body could break down and push out at a lot more steady rate. I mean, am I correct on that? Or
yeah, you're dead on, because you are going to get a biospecific chemical load from chicken because of the antibiotics that are used specifically with chicken and the diet that they're fed.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's all you eat every day, you're going to quickly accumulate those toxins from that one food that you just keep eating every day. You never get a break from it.
I got a big question about grain. Now, people have been eating grain for thousands of years, and only recently, in modern times, have we had the introduction of GMO grain and
hybrid. It's not GMO; it's hybridized.
Is there GMO grain, or is it hybridized grain?
Most of the grain out there is all GMO grain. I think it's to the point now where it's hard to find something unless you go to a farm or an Amish farm. I don't know where you would find it clear. But what people are missing is even if they don't use the chemicals associated with the grains, they're still watering the fields. And when they water it, it has chemicals in it. And when they spray any kind of chemtrail, you can have an organic farm. Your farm's getting sprayed. So,
actually, is it actually? I have on a different take that grain actually hasn't been genetically modified yet. It's actually been hybridized.
Well, that's what they call it, but the effect is the same.
Yeah,
it's inflammatory.
Yeah.
And it's, in the end, it's going to cause inflammation when you take it in. So I try and get people to just avoid it for 10 days and see how they feel. And a lot of the skin conditions, sinus conditions, everything that they're experiencing is coming from grains. Or dairy.
Back to kind of what I was saying. Now, people have been eating grain for thousands of years. So is the grain that people were eating, let's say 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, is that grain that they were eating then was it beneficial for them than it is for people eating, the modified grain of today?
Yeah.
Or is it just grain is grain no matter what through time?
Yeah, when you look at the grains, they were completely different than the grains that we take in now. They were more nutrient dense. But if you go to the Weston Price Foundation, or if you Google Dr. Pottinger, he was able to show through his research that they would go to tribes in Africa who had never eaten grains, and they had no disease, they had no dental caries, they had no cavities, they had perfect white teeth, and they were eating a diet of meat and vegetables. And he'll show you through photographs when you go to his site what happens when they introduce grains into that tribe. And it's night and day. Everything changes. They all start getting cavities. They all start getting diseases. They all start getting all these issues.
Yeah, I have the Weston A. Price book. It's called Physical and Nutritional Degeneration, correct?
Yeah, and that should have the photographs in it. It'll show you all the test subjects that they looked at. So, again, it's just back to a nutrient outlook where I can get every nutrient I need from the plants and from the proteins.
Mm-hmm. And then,
even nightshades. Nightshades are a huge one. For people who are listening, nightshades are tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and peppers. And now they find that those cause inflammation and trigger inflammation throughout the body. And they figured, why would that happen? Well, they weren't even introduced as a food. Nightshades people weren't eating tomatoes, potatoes, peppers. They were, if you look it up, they were actually used in occult seances and everything else. They weren't even looked at it as a food until people became poor and they had no other choice. They had to go to the nightshades just to eat. But they wanted to know, why would a nightshade cause inflammation in the body? And there's a chemical in all nightshades that's called solanine. And solanine is an oil in the nightshades that's actually stored in the body, and it's stored in the joints. So now you have all these younger people who have arthritis and joint pain and fibromyalgia and everything, and really they're just solanine toxic.
So nightshades are what fruits and vegetables again?
Tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and peppers.
Okay.
Hey, but when we come back, I want to get into your whole bioscan thing that's going on in your practice, on what you're working on and how that's working for other people.
And actually, we do have one question from someone that we have to bring up as well, too.
Oh, that's right.
But we'll be right back with Anthony, talk about biofeedback, and we have a question here from one of our listeners. So we'll be right back after this break. Here we are back with InformNation, 47 minutes past the hour. We have our special guest on the show today, Anthony Malchiodi, talking about toxins, biofeedback, and right now we're going to bust into Anthony and what he does over at his facility at New Holistic Health, or New Holistic Life, correct?
New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic. Sorry about that.
No problem.
New Life Holistic? NewLifeHolistic.com. and everyone could check out Anthony's facility over there. You could schedule an appointment with Anthony. Anthony could help you start removing these toxins from your diet, and he could also hook you up to this biofeedback machine that does wonders, I hear. Why don't you tell a little bit about this biofeedback machine, Anthony?
Sure. The machine that we use is a quantum life system, and basically what it's been programmed, just like when you go for an EKG, you're looking for certain frequency range and a response, like an oscilloscope, you're looking at a wavelength. And what the machine does is it's actually been calibrated with 7,000 biospecific frequencies. And what that is just the healthy frequency for the blood, for the organs, for the lymphatic system, circulatory system, for the brain, for the bones. Everything is in there, even disease, virus, it's all in there. And down to emotional frequencies, anger, aggression, low self-worth, those all have a frequency. Those people vibrate at a certain frequency. That's been programmed into the machine. You come in, we hook you up to the machine, pain-free, you just relax, you don't feel anything. And what it basically does is it's dialing those frequencies. So I tell people, if we're in a football stadium, your cell phone has a specific frequency, and that's the number. So I'm going to dial that number. Out of that whole football stadium, the only phone that will ring is your phone because I'm dialing your specific frequency. Well, the machine, as it goes through 7,000, it's dialing all these numbers, waiting for something to pick up. And when it does pick up, the machine is going to peg it as either hyper, it's way beyond, or it's hypo, it's low. So if you're thinking musically, frequency-wise, it's either sharp or it's flat. So on the first visit, we scanned for 7,000 issues. It finds any responses it can get from you, and it lists all the responses in priority. So now we know the challenges that your body has. What we do then is a separate scan for over 500 different foods and allergens. And now we're going to look at, because people have this idea that, well, I'm not allergic to anything. Well, allergy can have two manifestations, and one of them is an outward, where you have a histamine response and you get the itchy eyes and skin, but a lot of the sensitivities, you have an inward response. So you don't know it, but when you're eating certain foods, your body is freaking out. And what we do is look for all those sensitivities and then take the person off those foods for 10 days or for a month to give their body a chance to reacclimate without that stress. We take that stress away. And then after that, we do 4 follow-up visits. And the reason for that is if I came into your home and you had a piano and you said, I'm playing this piano and something doesn't sound right. Well, on the first visit, I'd go through every single key and I'd say, well, that one's out. Okay, 2 more, that one's out, that one's out. And if I just looked at you and said, okay, out of all the keys here, you got 27 that are out of tune. Thank you, and I left. What good does that do?
Yeah.
So for the next 4 visits, as people come in, the machine then has the ability to put out the proper frequency on a cellular level to your body, so your body can tune to the correct frequency. So after 4 visits of retuning these frequencies, then we scan again and we say, oh, look at what happened now. Now this is okay, that's okay. So we're able to show them and quantify it through numbers because the machine is giving you percentages and bar graphs throughout the whole format that we do.
So it's pretty hands-on and proactive over there then.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not like going to a doctor, because we have people who say, oh, I went to my doctor and he listens to me for 5 minutes and then he gives me a drug and I walk out the door. That's never going to change your health. We sit with people on the first initial visit. We're in there for 90 minutes. We want to know everything about what you're eating, how you're living, the ecosystem you live in at your home. We want to then get a good picture, a holistic picture of the person, then go into the bioscan and see what stressors or toxins that body's dealing with, and then help them and coach them and say, okay, well, look, it's right here. Caffeine is a toxin to you, so we need to remove that. And we really work with people hands-on, just like a coach or a trainer. We're with them the whole way.
That's cool. Very informative that way. You inform people.
Yeah.
You're giving people the information that they could take out of your office and use in their daily life then, too.
Well, that's what we said. Remember the old saying, if you
I was
teach a
actually
man
just
to fish,
about to
he
say
can
that.
fish the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So,
I was just about to say something like that.
It was funny. I was
Yeah,
trying to
if
tell that
you-
to some kids the other day.
Hey,
if you
actually,
if you educate them, now they become educated, and from that point forward, their life changes.
well, hey, Anthony, we actually got a question in here from one of our listeners, and it talks about he asked about teens and energy drinks. That he knows that a lot of he's a teen himself. This is actually my brother, and he notices that all these teens nowadays are just feeling very like zombie-like, and
They always need energy
and
drinks.
down, and they're looking towards energy drinks to supplement their low energy level. So what would you say to teens and young people nowadays that are having low energy levels that in order
And
to
what are these
to-
energy drinks doing to them?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, there you're taking a problem and you're trying to fix it by adding 10 problems. So I don't know how that works. When you do have low energy, we're going to look at your thyroid. We're going to look at your adrenal glands. We're going to look at everything that will give you energy. But a big factor everyone leaves out is your sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're never going to have energy. I don't care what supplements you're on or how clean your diet is. You have to have that quality sleep to restore your battery and to store energy. And like I said, breakfast is the biggest energy drain because digestion takes the most energy from your body. So here's people who sleep, say you magically slept 8 hours. You woke up with all this energy. The first thing you do is sit down and eat breakfast. Now your body has to digest that breakfast. So all that stored energy goes right out the window, and by 10:30 you're tired. Or you spike it with sugar, and your energy is going to crash because of the insulin. So, yeah, taking an energy drink is putting a Band-Aid on the problem. You're treating the symptom. At New Life, I want to know, why are you tired? Is it an endocrine problem? Is it the adrenal glands? Because you're constantly stressed or you're angry. That's going to deplete your adrenal glands. Even working out will deplete your adrenal glands. So I want to look at that and fix that problem. I don't want to throw an energy drink because now I'm going to throw toxins into the body and make the liver kidney go crazy, and it's a diuretic, so now I'm going to dehydrate the body.
So for all these young kids out there, I guess what Anthony's telling them is get good sleep.
Yep.
Don't wake up and eat right away, especially a high sugar diet or a high sugar breakfast. You should have natural energy drain. I mean, me on my behalf, I don't eat for a big majority of my day, and I don't eat right away in the morning, and my energy just stays in tune with me all day. I drink lots of water, too. I throw a little bit of real salt or Celtic sea salt in there to give the minerals back to the water since I'm reverse osmosing it. And my energy, I feel like if I run a little bit lower on energy, I drink another glass of water, like it comes back up a little bit more. So maybe water consumption, especially for these kids too, but please don't drink the water out of the faucets in these high schools. It's disgusting. But I'm happy that we had you on today, Anthony. And I think you helped a lot of our listeners out there kind of get an idea on getting rid of toxins in their diet.
You've definitely helped me out.
Yeah, you definitely helped me out. I'm like
brought
writing notes over
a lot
here.
of ideas to the table that I didn't even think about before.
Sure. Well, thanks. It was my pleasure being on. I appreciate it.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Anthony over here. He has two facilities, one in Chicago and one in Wheaton, and you could check that out at newlifeholistic.com. You could check out all his information there, see all the testimonials from all his guests and his clientele that he's had over there throughout the years, and the miraculous work that this biofeedback scanner does. And then he also, Anthony, has a weekly radio show called Rock Your Health, which is on the Wellness Network, correct?
Correct.
It's on the Wellness Network on 247thestream.com. Click the Wellness Network, and then check out some of Anthony's shows either on the website, or you could go to SoundCloud or iTunes and check them out. But it's called Rock Your Health, and that's with Anthony Malchiodi, and it's from 8 to 9 Central Standard Time. But thanks for
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. But thanks for coming on tonight, Anthony, or today, and I hope you have a great Monday.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week.
You too, Anthony.
See
Have
ya.
a good one. But
Take care.
What I want to do, I want to get back here. We're doing this series, You Are What You Eat series. And then we had a great guest, Anthony, and maybe it's not you are what you eat, but it is what you absorb. And what we're going to be doing these next couple weeks is we're going to be having some special guests on the show. And next week we're going to have my mentor, and she's a genius coming in. And if you're watching the podcast right now, she's the author of Evolutionary Eating, How We Got Fat, and 7 Simple Fixes. That would be Dr. Teresa Nesbitt. She's going to be on next week, Monday, from 2 to 4. She'll be here live in the studio. And then the following week, we're going to be having a good friend that I met down in Florida at a seminar. He's called Certified Health Nut. That would be Troy Casey. He's out in California. He's big into the health field and spreading the knowledge to thousands and millions of people about changing their lifestyles, getting back to the root of who we are as human beings with the mind, the body, the spirit. So we're going to be having a couple interesting shows coming up, but we're also going to be giving away that $30 free gift card to a place of your choosing. If you could email us, message us, or call into the radio show at all during the next couple segments that we're going to have.
Alex, I don't know about you, but today I was pretty enlightened.
I was enlightened today, too. Today was a great show. I think I'm going to start off my Monday here. I had a banana and a fruit. I guess I should go grab me some organic meat here, but we just had something spill in the studio. But we'll be back next week with Teresa Nesbitt.
I hope everybody has a great week, great Monday.
Everyone have a great Monday, and we'll see you next week.